Hey everybody, it's Jason Vlaha here, and I had a subscriber post something on the Facebook fan page, and he posted a video by Louie Simmons, and he's saying, hey, Louie Simmons is now talking about doing a partial bench press where you're not touching your chest. Is this like continual tension nonsense? Is this going to be popular now? Does this mean it's okay to do partial bench? So let me put on my +5 hat of weaponsmithing, work on skilling up my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. No, this is absolutely not constant tension. This is Louie Simmons talking about dynamic benching. I want people to understand some things when it comes to some of Louie's concepts. Louie is the ultimate mad scientist of powerlifting. All right, he is a world-renowned powerlifting coach, has an amazing body of knowledge, but you need to understand some of the techniques that he teaches are so advanced that most of you, even on 2 grams of gear a week, will never be strong enough to really incorporate his training methods. The vast majority of you out there have no business touching some of this stuff, meaning when he's talking about stuff like this ballistic benching, which I'm going to explain in just a bit. How do I put this mildly? If you can only pause bench 350 pounds and hold it on your chest for 2 seconds and then press it up, if that's where you're at, you have no business messing with stuff like this. You know, if you've been stuck at a 440, 450 pound bench for the past year and it doesn't go up, this is when you start incorporating some of this really advanced stuff that he does. But he has a lot of other stuff that's advanced also to kind of get you to that point. This ballistic benching he's talking about, this is for people who are like, I want a 500 plus pound raw bench. All right, that's the sort of mentality you have to have with that, and it's got to be, I don't give a fuck if I rip a peck off my bone either, because I want a 500 pound bench and I don't fucking care if it kills me. I don't care if I'm crippled. All right, that's the type of mentality that you approach with training like that. Now, with this ballistic benching, part of this you need to remember, some of Louie's stuff is geared towards equipped lifters. This particular one is good for raw also, but you need to understand a lot of Louie Simmons' methods, a lot of the things that he teaches are for equipped lifters. If you're squatting raw or benching raw, a lot of this stuff is less useful to you. Now, if you're going to be an equipped power lifter, I would say there's probably no better coach in the world than Louie Simmons. You're not going to find a better coach. If you want to be the best of the best in equipped powerlifting, you probably need to go train with Louie, and you need to move out to his state so that you can get to his gym and train several times a week. That's just what you're going to do if you're that serious about it. But that's because you want to be a champion, and that means things like your personal life and other dreams and where you want to live go by the wayside. All right, that's just how that goes. But the ballistic benching, what he's talking about is not what you guys are thinking of with a bench, of stopping the bar an inch off your chest. Is not constant tension. It's not keeping it in the middle. This is not anything to do with slow. All right, a lot of guys, when they think of, you guys come down and you see people partial benching, it's, and they stop and they try to bring it back up. They can't even, they're lowering it so slow because they know they can't actually get it to their chest. That's not what we're talking about. We're talking about taking enormous amounts of weight, oftentimes with bands, with chains and everything attached, where sometimes you might even be doing overspeed eccentrics to where the bar gets pulled down faster than free fall speed. All right? When you drop an object, it falls at a given rate. Falls at a given rate. If you can attach bands to a bar that pull tension downward, it can pull an object, it can pull a bar towards you faster than if you had just turned loose of it. Right? It can go faster than free fall speed. He's talking about uncontrolled eccentrics. A lot of Louie speed work is not controlled eccentrics at all. It is you're letting bars drop at free fall speed while you hold on to them and then reversing them. In this case with ballistic benching, what he's pointing out is, you know, let's say you got 300 pounds on the bar. All right, and this is where guys are going, oh, this is serious shit. Yeah, you got 300 pounds on the bar and you have 150 pounds of band tension at the top, to where you're using a band to pull it down. You're letting the bar drop extremely fast. Let me seat this and I'll show you what I mean. When I mean fast, meaning you got the bar, you let it drop like that, right? Drop as fast as possible, and then you stop the bar 1 inch from your chest and immediately reverse it. That's what he's talking about with ballistic benching, where you're using things like bands and everything to pull the weight down faster than if you had just turned loose of it and it fell at normal speed. It's to bring it down insanely fast, decelerate an inch off of your chest and immediately reverse it and lock it out. So you're talking about, when he's talking about not touching the chest, he's talking about stopping literally 1 inch from your chest with a bar moving is faster than if you just dropped an object. Catching it at the bottom and reversing it. Meaning you're talking about a rep from the lockout all the way down to the way back up, probably less than half a second. None of this 1 second down, 1 second up. We're talking a half second from the start of the eccentric to the reverse to the lockout again, like half a second or less time. You're talking about training for speed strength. You're talking about training for extreme explosiveness with heavy weights. Because that is what Louie trains for. He trains through a lot of stuff. He trains people how to do max effort work, dynamic effort work. This ballistic benching he's talking about is about developing extreme amounts of speed strength through overspeed eccentrics. Meaning overspeed eccentrics, letting the bar drop faster than free fall speed. So you people who see me deadlifting and letting the bar drop fast would freak out if you watch Louie Simmons' training, because that's how guys have trained. He has bars coming at people's chests, dropping faster than gravity will pull the bar, because they use bands to make it accelerate faster on the way down. So this is what you're talking about. You're talking about extremely fast eccentrics. This has nothing to do with time under tension. This is about training instantaneous, fast, upper threshold muscle fiber recruitment, so that within fractions of a second you take a weight that's over 300 pounds, dropping extremely fast towards you and reversing it an inch off your chest and locking it out instantaneously. All right, you're talking about something, if a camera's rolling, a couple frames of the camera. If there's something like this is done correctly, you're going to struggle to catch it with the frames of a camera unless you're using a really high frame rate camera. They can catch all the frames. That's what we're talking about. Fast, fast, fast. Louie is really, really big on training speed strength, training explosiveness, and overspeed eccentrics have always been one of the methods that he's used for that with lifters. In this case, on the bench press, you're not letting it touch your chest in reverse, you're making sure that it doesn't bounce off the chest. By not letting it bounce off the chest is what you would do on a lot of band work. By stopping it an inch short and reversing it, you're using 100% muscle recruitment to instantaneously stop the weight and reverse directions on it. All right, this is not what people are thinking of with the partial benches that they are doing to where they're grunting and they can barely handle the weight coming down, and then they stop at 3 inches short of their chest and then, press it back up with shitty form. That's not the same thing, or it's none of this mid-range stuff you see bodybuilders doing. This is about speed. Nothing like it. And you need to understand that a method like this is not for novice lifters, it's not for intermediate lifters. This is the type of advanced program you use for someone who probably benches over 400 pounds already, and they're stalling because they're too slow off their chest. They don't have enough speed. They can't move the weight fast enough, and they're stuck somewhere in the 400s on their bench press. All right, this is very, very advanced stuff. And you need to understand it's also very dangerous stuff. A lot of the stuff that he has athletes doing, if you mess around with this and you don't do it correctly, you don't know what you're doing, you can have career-ending injuries. You can have injuries very, very severe from it. For obvious reasons. Think about what we just described you doing. Very, very heavy weights with bands and stuff attached to it, dropping faster than free fall speed, catching it and reversing it an inch off your chest. And I don't mean catching it with your hands coming under. I mean your hands are on it, but when you do anything like that with the bands, you're actually rowing it to your chest so that it comes faster. So you're pulling it down, letting the bands pull it so that it's dropping really, really fast and then reversing it. Now you think about that, if something goes wrong, you could get cracked ribs, right? You could hurt yourself. You can tear a pec doing this. Training like this is dangerous, and I'm not saying you're going to get hurt, because plenty of his guys do it and they don't get hurt. But this is high injury rate stuff, and I want people to understand that with an advanced training method like this has nothing to do with continual tension. This isn't the same sort of partials that you see gym bros doing at the gym. This is very advanced, high-level powerlifter stuff for guys who are probably already competing at the world level. All right, totally different thing. Nothing to do with most people's partial bench in the gym. So please do not get these mixed up, and please do not think that this has anything to do with the sort of partials you see other people doing, because it's not related. This is a very sport-specific speed strength training thing, and that's what it is. It's a dynamic effort technique. All right, guys, but that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.